This video is brought to you by New Silly O's Premium Deluxe. New Silly O's Premium Deluxe, it's the bee's bollocks.
Greetings, sentient lifeforms, and welcome to this fifth episode of the InQuizitor. And today I have a very special guest with me today, all the way from the exotic lands of Scotland. And it is the one, the only, what's your name again, sir?
Mamemeister.
Oh, that's it, right. Mamemeister. How are you today?
Hello, I'm wonderful. Thank you very much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. I know you're just like a tiny wee channel, so I thought I'd give you a break and feature you on my channel. You know, because you've only got like a couple of subscribers, haven't you?
Something like that. Don't really look.
So, I have to ask you, what does it feel like being Scottish?
What does it feel like being Scottish? I'm proud of being Scottish. I do at times think I would love to live somewhere else, mainly because of two things: the weather and people dropping rubbish. I think Scotland's probably one of the most untidiest countries. We just don't seem to care. Yeah, we're an interesting breed. We love nothing more than to big people up, and then when they get successful, we love to ram them into the ground. We also, we have what's called
people in general.
But and we definitely do have wee man syndrome, where we, I don't know, things like when we play England at football or whatever. It doesn't matter if we're playing them; we always want them to get beaten. We're just, it's like we're quite a negative country. But I'm proud to be Scottish, I have to say.
How dare you say that? I'm only joking. Oh, that's good. Can't say that I'm fond of it myself, but I wouldn't really want to live anywhere else. So I guess this will do. So, I was wondering, did you do any online stuff before you started your YouTube channel?
When you say online stuff, as in like, did I play video games online or?
Just whatever. Did you like have a website or do any like these chat forums or anything?
No. Anyone that watches my channel will know I'm extremely incompetent when it comes to sort of technology.
That's true.
Yeah. I'll mention nothing, the fact that we're 20 minutes late starting this because you couldn't get your microphone working, but I'm sure you'll edit that bit out.
Well, actually, it was an hour, and my microphone was working fine. Actually, it's just I didn't realise it was on mute.
I've done that many a time. Yeah, you're doing your live streams and then you happen to glance across and folk are like, "You're muted, we can't hear you." Oh, bollocks. Sorry. Did I have any online thing? No, I didn't. No. Because we did a podcast with the Computer Club, but that was after I started YouTube. No, I didn't. I didn't do. I mean, until I became aware of Steve Benway, I thought that YouTube was just a site where people uploaded videos of animals and people falling down stairs and whatever. I didn't know that it was something. I realised that it's something you could upload a video, a bit like what was that called again? You've Been Framed. You can upload a video of something, whatever. But I didn't really understand that you could have your own little section of YouTube where you had your name and you could upload a series of videos. I didn't even know that was a thing until I started watching Steve Benway. He was the sort of first kind of YouTuber that I really I used to watch on a sort of regular basis.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I didn't realise you could just go onto YouTube at first and upload whatever. I thought it was a thing you had to pay for and only certain people could do it. Didn't realise, like, obviously it's YouTubes, which means anybody like you can be a tube online.
Yeah, YouTube. If it was in Scotland, YouTube. that is the thing. So I'm going to have a wee minor rant. Can I have a rant?
Sure thing.
Yeah. A good friend of mine's who is he calls himself the web developer extraordinaire. He comes from Glasgow. David Campbell. I'll give him a wee shout out. And David was he's he was saying it really annoys him when he hears of people complaining about Google algorithms and YouTube algorithms and if you have like a super chat and somebody gives you money and you go, oh, bloody YouTube took 20% off of that. He said if you didn't know YouTube existed and you wanted and somebody says look, I want to have a platform where I can I'm a budding Shakespearean actor. I want to have a platform, or I'm a singer. I want to have a platform where I can sing and I can upload videos for for people to listen to. I want to have, is that possible? And then somebody comes back to you says, yes, listen, I can give you unlimited bandwidth. I will give you the option for people to comment on your videos.
Sometimes.
I will give you the
Depending on what your comment is.
I will give you the option. I will give you the option for people to pay you monthly if they like you. I'll also give you an option to have a thing called a super chat, whereby somebody gives you £10, we will keep 20% off that, and you'll get the other 80%. So you're going to get all this, and do you know how much it's going to cost? Nope. Please tell me it's going to cost you nothing. So when you think about it, it's a wonderful thing. People moan about it, but you're getting it for bugger all. And, to be able to, I mean, that the fact that there are people who do this full time, and it's not costing them any penny, I think YouTube gets a bit of a hard time at times. Possibly deserved at times.
Yeah. Let's stand up for the big man.
Yeah. We do this. We've got this platform. Doesn't cost us anything at all, so I think it's great. I really do.
Fair enough, yeah.
So that's my rant over. Well, until the next one, obviously.
Alright. Sorry, there was something I was going to add to that, and then my memory just went blank as soon as there was silence. Has that ever happened to you?
All the time. It's it's
You're in a conversation with someone and you think of stuff while they're talking, and then as soon as they're finished, it's just silence.
oh, it's when you have it when you're maybe interviewing somebody who you've been trying to get on the channel for a long time, and they're talking, and you're thinking, right, what was your favourite Spectrum game? What was your favourite Spectrum game? What's your favourite? And you're going over, blah, 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 and then they stop talking, and you go, oh crap, I've forgotten what the word. And then you just ask them something really generic, like, so what's your favourite computer game? You ask them something just to try and fill in the gap, because there's that awkward silence is awkward.
Yeah.
Not as bad as when I was down at Play Blackpool a couple of years ago. I was hosting the various retro talks, and I had all the questions written down on a piece of paper, and somebody in their wisdom thought, let's turn the lights out for ambience, and I couldn't fucking read what I was trying. I couldn't see my question.
Did you not have a torch or a phone with you that you could...
I didn't. No. I mean, fortunately, I did have them on a laptop, and I managed to kind of, all right, where are we? But, yeah.
So, speaking of generic questions, how did you get started on YouTube?
What brought me to sort of making a video on YouTube? Again, I've probably recounted this 1,000 times, and people will be bored of the same thing. I was sat in my little games room back in 2013. I'm really lucky. I've got a good selection of original hardware and games and things, and I would never be bored playing games. And this one,
I'm envious of your Vectrex.
Oh yeah, my Vectrex is. I've got one in the cupboard as well as a backup.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah. Excuse me. And I just couldn't think of anything. I thought, what can I play? I don't know. And then, obviously, like everybody, I've got a smartphone. I thought, why don't just for a laugh, why don't I record myself playing one of the worst games ever, and I'll just talk over it. what can I call it? 10 Mamemeister 10-minute match, because I've had the name Mamemeister since 1997. I'll not bother telling you how we got that name. I've told that story a million times. But anyway, I thought, right.
Is it because you're the master of meme?
Yeah, well, no, I'm not. No, it's, well, do you want to know the story?
Why not?
Do you want? Yeah, I mean, again, I've told this loads of times. Back in 1997, when I first got the internet, my
In the ancient times.
yeah, you probably weren't even born then. My friend Grant.
Well, I was 6.
Thanks for that. Yeah, my my mate Grant. He, a few weeks before, had he knew of my love for like old systems, arcade games. He's always been one of these guys that embraces the current technology. So he's all over PlayStation 5 and all this kind of stuff. Where he's always knew that I still hark back to like the Commodore 64 and what have you. And he said, "Oh, he phoned me up and said, I've got this floppy disk which you are going to absolutely flip out over." I goes, "What do you mean? What is it?" He says, "It's a program that runs Galaxian and Space Invaders, the arcade." How's that possible? He said, "Oh, I don't know. I'll bring it up." So he came up the next day, put the floppy disk into the 486, and it booted into DOS, and you typed MAME dash or MAME space, I don't know, dash Galaxian. And then the next minute, you get the garbled sort of screen as it's kind of booting up. And then there was Galaxian. I'm like, holy shit, this is arcade Galaxian. I don't think there was any sound. I'm like, fucking hell, this is incredible. So anyway, fast forward a couple of months, I just got my computer going online, and I was trying to join Yak Yak, which is a forum which still exists. It's dedicated to Jeff Minter. It's Lamasoft software. And I had Googled Commodore 64, and in fact, it wasn't even Google, it was Yahoo'd. I don't think Google was even a thing back then. I typed into Yahoo Jeff Minter, and then it came up with some stuff about Jeff Minter, and oh, Yak Yak, what's this? Click here. Oh, it's people talking. I'll join it. Username, so I think I put in like Alan Stewart, and it's like, this name has been used or something like that. I thought, oh, fuck, what can I call myself? Now, I thought, oh, wait a minute. Now, said friend, Grant, who gave me the MAME disc, he was massively into Doom. And if you kill somebody, it's called a frag. And if you're particularly adept at something, you're called the Meister of something. So he called himself the Fragmeister just for a laugh. So I thought, what can I call myself? Mame. I thought, Mamemeister. That sounds good. And that was how it stuck. So anyway, I did have I don't know how. In fact, yeah, I did have a YouTube channel. I think I opened it in 2006, and I uploaded a couple of videos. Me and my daughter, stupid things about our hamster, whatever it was. I can't remember. But anyway, fast forward to 2013. I was bored. I thought, why don't I record myself playing a game using my phone? So I loaded up Sewer Shark, which is a CD game for the Mega CD, and I recorded. I played it and I talked over it. It's called.
Would you recommend it?
No, it's shite. It's a terrible game. So that was it. That was the Mamemeister 10-minute mashup, and I thought, I'll do that every day. I'll do one 10-minute video, and I actually used to number them, and I think I got to about 400. And then I decided I had kind of branched out into other things, and I dropped the number. And there was a couple of my early subscribers were absolutely gutted that I'd stopped numbering them. So that was it. It was to relieve the boredom, play a bad game for 10 minutes, and I enjoyed it. And I started when you know yourself, when you start getting a wee bit of interaction, somebody comments on a video, hey, bloody hell, I've got 3 subscribers, which sounds ridiculous, but the fact that you're just a bloke in your bedroom playing a game and you upload this video into the ether, and there's 3 people in the world that goes, this is actually, I want to see more from this person. That just blew my mind that there was even such a thing. And yeah, here I am, some 11 years on, still attempting to entertain people.
Are those early videos still up?
They're everyone, yes. They're all. There is nothing that I have ever taken down. So yeah, what you can actually do is quite interesting. You can actually, when you go to somebody's channel, you can if you click on I think it's videos, you can then actually feature them from like date. So you can
You can go
watch.
from oldest to
If you
newest.
really want to watch PewDiePie's first video, you can go and watch it. It's interesting. I mean, talk about stilted when I watched my first video. It's like, but then it's, you know what, it's something.
Did you start off doing a commentary over it, or did you just do gameplay to start with?
I was just talking. I mean, if you want to overlay me doing Surfshark, I don't recommend it. It's you know what, it's easy to be critical and say, oh, it's fucking awful. But most people like you and me, and you know, most people who are not on TV or not involved in the radio, it's completely alien.
Yeah.
To talk
And the
to a
thing is,
camera.
quite a lot of them, they go to college or whatever and get courses to learn how to communicate better and all that. We're just normal people that trial and error. So
Making it up as we go along. And you know, when I look at, I mean, I would say YouTube for me has been an absolute revelation. It has given me so much confidence. Hopefully not in a precocious way, but it's made me so much more confident. I can talk in front of a group of people now. You know, I would run a million miles if somebody mentioned interview. My heart would be thudding, but you know, coming out my chest. Now I'm like, whatever. You know, I was down in Blackpool.
now people can't get you to shut up.
Aye, exactly. And you know, it astounds me sometimes when on a Friday, and I think, right, I'll do a live waffle, and it's just me. And yeah, you can see people's names at the side of the screen typing things, so you know that there are people out there, and it's just you. It's just you, and I mean, it's a skill. It is definitely a skill, and it's something I think, you know, I've gotten a lot out of it. And you know, people that maybe do lack confidence, whatever, I would say, you know, get into something like YouTube. Talk about something that you enjoy, whether it's Doctor Who or collecting stamps, whatever. Talk about something, and you know, it really helped my confidence a lot. And that probably culminated in, you know, 2 years ago. My proudest moment was sitting with John Romero and his missus, who I didn't even know was going to turn up. I'm sitting in front of, I mean, this place in Blackpool, it probably held over about 200 people, and there was people couldn't get in. People were like standing at the door and gaping in, and there's little old Mamemeister with John Romero. It's like, how did I come from the early playing Surfshark in my bedroom, recorded on a phone, to suddenly you know, I'm doing this? And that's, you know, so I've gotten a lot out of YouTube. I really have. I've made a lot of friends, yourself included. It's been a revelation, and I think for people, you know, especially over COVID and things, when people were saying, "Oh, isolation," I'm like, "Yeah, dancer," you know, it works for me
So was I.
because you know you've got this outlet to talk to people, and you've got an excuse to play games. So yeah, it's I think it's been great.
You've come a long way. Just going from your bedroom talking about a piss game to talking to someone like that is an incredible journey.
Aye, and you know, and even like the video that I did 3-4 weeks ago, the 12-hour live stream. You know, you're sitting, you know, Jeff Minter and all these guys, and it's hilarious because I bought a.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Was that quite difficult to set up all that? I know you did talk about it in a Friday Waffle, but just for the video.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was difficult because all you're doing is you're sitting on your arse for 12 hours and talking.
Yeah.
No, what I mean, it was challenging from the point of view. You're thinking, well, yeah, people are going to be, you know, watching this for 12 hours. What am I going to do? You know, there's only so much China Minor you can play and whatever. And I thought, well, you know, let's try and raise a bit of money. I think, well, if I'm going to be expecting people to make a donation, I need to try and make it moderately entertaining. Now, over the intervening 13 years, I mean, through Yak Yak, I I used to chat to like Jeff Minter on, was it IRC, whatever it was called, which is an ancient form of like Messenger, and guys like Gary Liddon. So I was aware of these people, and they were aware of me. And so when Facebook came along, you could do a search for, whoever. You could type in somebody's name and go, oh, there's such and such a person. So all I did was, like Sean Southern, who did the Lotus Turbo games, Kickstart, and the C64, all these wonderful games. I googled. I was like checking Google to see if I could find Sean Southern contact details, and he was quite literally a guy that had just vanished. Nobody had spoken to him for like years and years and years and years. He didn't have any online presence. And then I just had a quick search on Facebook, and I thought, Sean Southern. I thought, is that him? And then I did a few kind of images, check Google images. I thought, well, that's him there, that's him there. So I sent him a message. I just sent him a message, introduced myself. And before I knew it, he was on my channel with Andrew Morris, who did the graphics. And I've done that for every single person that I've had on my channel, has been me just sending a wee cheeky message in Messenger.
Yeah.
It's that simple. At the end of the day, people can look at it and go, not interested. There's been people, Tony Crowther, Martin Galway. These are guys that I've reached out to a couple of times, and they read it and they don't reply. And I think, right, I'm not chasing anybody for it. But there's been, John Hare. We were 5.5 hours. We were talking. I ended up having to say to him, "Listen, John, I need to get going, mate. I need to get to my bed," sort of thing. And it's hilarious because they've just released. He works for a company called Tower Studios, and they've just released a game called Sociable Soccer, which is like the spiritual successor to Sensei Soccer. And I've had a few issues with it, and I was going to go onto the Sociable Soccer Discord channel, and people are saying, "Oh, this isn't working," and da 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 da. And I thought, bollocks, I'll just message John in Messenger. So I've been sending on, John, that's not working. What about maybe putting this in? Can you give us the option to turn off replays? Aye, good one, mate. And I says, by the way, you need see this shite about having to be online to play it. Come on, you need to fix that. And he went, totally agree, mate. So, I'm one of these.
Maybe you'll get a credit in it as a test player.
It's maybe I think the thing about Scottish people, we do like, I wouldn't say we like the sound of our own voices. We're quite bolshy. I'm one of these people. I will ask.
I'll ask voice.
A favour of somebody, but conversely, I'll be the first person. If somebody needs a hand and I can help them, I'll help them out. So I'm the first person to say, "What about doing this for me?" Blah 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 blah. What's the worst that can happen? They can either ignore you, they can say no. But sorry, going back to what you're saying, was it difficult to organise? It was. I got out my little red book of people that I know, Sean Southern, all these different people, pinged out a message, and they came, yeah, that would be good. And as I got closer to the actual date, I thought, well, people are going to say, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I can't make it along," and that's fine, because at the end of the day, it's just it's people have got their own lives and what have you. But and then it was announced it on social media, and I got a couple of guys that really helped me. Big Still, they did a nice video, an intro sort of thing, and I was really bigging it up on Twitter and YouTube, and everybody came together, everybody turned up when they should be, and I think it's my finest video. I've said that, and I don't care if people think I'm being an arrogant twat. But you go and find a better collection of retro people from the scene on video, and I'll buy you 10 beers. It doesn't exist. It's the finest collection of people in one space. I'm really, really proud of it. And, these guys made it. And the fact that we got 1,500 quid for charity is icing on the cake. Guys like Nick Sherman of Harlesoft. Nick went away and wrote Burger Time for this video. He also wrote a game as we were recording the video, and Nick himself, through the sales of that game, it was about 190 quid or something, which is brilliant. So yeah, I think being a tenacious bastard definitely helps.
See, I really struggled trying to even get started with something like that, because even just reaching out to you to do this video is sort of apprehensive, even though we've talked before. It's just, I see you as like, oh, Mamemeister's got this big YouTube channel. It's like far bigger than I'll ever be. Like, It's sort of scary. But then it's just numbers, isn't it? Like you're
It's,
a
yeah, I
decent,
mean, you know,
normal person underneath it.
you know what? I mean, I remember going to. I remember going to,
I
where did I
think
go to
quite a
down to?
lot of people that you think big celebrity people, they wouldn't want to talk to you. Most of them, well, obviously there are a lot of egos, but a lot of them are just like normal, down to earth people, aren't they?
Of course. Well, I'm a regular bloke. I mean, the reason I was delayed was because I had to go and make my daughter hot dogs.
Yeah,
I'm just, I'm just a bloke like you. I just happen to have been around on YouTube a lot longer, and that it's a thing. It's an organic thing. The longer you exist on something like YouTube, you are going to grow, and it's it's I've always. I mean, I've put a lot of hard work into my channel. I've always tried to. It always upsets me when people say, "Oh, this guy Mamemeister, he does great live streams." It's like I fucking do loads. Look at my back catalogue. I've got 12. I've got 2,500 bloody videos out there. I've got, I've done so much. I always try and, for me as well. I want to keep it fresh. I want to try and come up with new ideas. Yeah, I have gone down the road of doing a lot of live streams, which is it works for me. It's easier. It's more fun. The thought of just sitting behind a camera and talking whatever it can be difficult. But yeah, at the end of the day, YouTube, and when you sit down with guys like you're talking to me, when I'm talking to someone like John here, you're like, he's just a bloke. He's a rich bloke, and he's well known, but he's just a bloke.
yeah.
I'm sure that you do get some twats that would be like arrogant, and there's been a couple. There was one guy, and I'm going to call him out if I can even remember his bloody name. Bruce Everest of ex Imagine director. That one that went tits up on that commercial breaks program. They,
Don't know who that
I,
is.
I got, yeah, I got in touch with him, and I said he'd like to come on the channel, and
What did he do
he
then?
just, what was that? Sorry.
What did he do then? Because I don't know who that is.
No, Brute, if you remember the original, well, you weren't probably born. The original Imagine software, they had this. This was the guy. This was the company that were bringing out the mega game Bandersnatch and Cyclops. These were mega games. Um, they famously gave all their staff like Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and they were one of the first software companies to really make money. They had wonderful artwork for their games. Most of their games were complete bollocks, but back in 1983, people would just lap up any software at all. Oh, there's a game, there's a Space Invader game, buy it, buy it, buy it, buy it. So they made a lot of money really fast, but they famously went bankrupt because they were spending more money than was coming in, and they eventually collapsed after about a year and a half, and then Ocean Software bought them over. Um, and Ocean then released their own Imagine games, like things like Year Kung Fu and Greenberry, and guys like John Gibson, who worked for Imagine Software. He then, I think, him and a couple other guys, they formed. Completely forgot the name of them, but they then formed other companies. But yeah, Imagine Software, they were the first big mega company, and then they crashed and burned big style because they were throwing money.
Right.
They were throwing money, and they came up with these mega games. And there's a great bit, and there's a documentary on YouTube called Commercial Breaks. Just Google it, or YouTube it, whatever you want to say. And this marketing manager for Imagine goes along to the publisher, and he says, "How are you getting on with this new game?" "Oh, yeah. We've got this Cyclops and Bandersnatch. It's going to be the mega game." "And when's this coming out?" "Oh, it'll be out in like 4 weeks." And the thing is, I think they'd literally started programming it. And he says, and so what?
4 weeks is
How
like half the time it takes for me to edit a video. Never mind a whole game.
And he said, so, and she goes on, we're going to be packing in lots of extras with the game. "Oh, what do you mean?" "We're going to be giving a T-shirt, a baseball cap, a sticker, a model. There's probably going to be about 40 things we're putting in." And he's like, 40 things? He went, yeah. Because how much is this game going to cost? We're looking at probably about £45. He went, games people at the moment pay £4.99, £5.99 tops for a game. You're going to charge £45? Yeah, but you're getting on all this extra. And of course, the games never ever came to fruition. It never happened. And then I says, in this commercial breaks.
Was it all just a scam?
Yeah, in this commercial breaks, it was like a fly in the wall documentary. And you see the guys, they go for their lunch from Imagine Software, and they come back to go into their office, and the bailiffs have suddenly arrived. You can't get in, you can't. Oh, I need to get in and get my jacket. Nope, you're not getting in. And that was it. It was game over. I says, and then eventually they got bought over by, or the Ocean Software bought over the Imagine logo. But this Bruce Everest, he was one of the directors from them, and I asked him if he wanted to come on the channel, and I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was just a bit of a twat, quite rude, and just the way he was quite condescending in his reply, and I just thought, fuck you, I don't want you on my channel. You know what I mean? And then you get guys like Gary Bracey. Gary was one of the early directors from Ocean Software. You could not get a nicer bloke than Gary. He's so warm, and he's willing to talk about the good old days. I mean, he stuck £100 in the 12-hour live stream a couple of weeks ago. He got in touch. He's like, I'm really sorry. I'm going to be on my travels. I can't make it. Give me your bank details and I'll stick a few quid. I goes, they gave me £100. Yeah. That's the size of that guy. So
yeah, that's the kind of people you want to be interviewing, really.
Yeah, people that are twats. I totally get that.
I've got no time for egos.
No. I do get that people look upon, you know, if I don't know, if you did something that you were proud of, you know, when you were like 17, and then people are asking you about it now, you'd be like, well, man, that was 30 years ago. So some people like me saying to whoever, saying, look, do you want to come on my channel and talk about games? I'll be like, that was a different lifetime. I'm not interested. And I get that. There are people who want to move on. You know, but yeah, but no, the 12-hour thing, it did take a lot of work from a lot of people.
Yeah.
And you know, I was really thankful.
Sorry, I did watch a wee bit of it on YouTube, but I missed it live because I wasn't really feeling that great at the time. But I had been watching wee bits of it on and off.
And for the first time ever, I've actually put in.
It's great for people like me, obviously, because you're ancient and stuff.
Yeah,
I can watch these things and learn all about games that were well before my time. It's interesting for me, like, to see the history and from people that actually made it.
Aye, well, that's the thing. Like guys like me, and there's one of my friends, Tony Temple. He does the Ted Dabney Experience podcast with a couple other guys, and these guys interview the real early pioneers of the industry. They've not interviewed Nolan Bushnell yet, but they've had Eugene Jarvis. They've had Al Alcorn, who was the third employee of Atari. So these guys get these, you know, guys who are now in their 80s and 90-year-old, and they sit them down and they talk about how did Robotron come to be? Why did you decide to make his trousers blue and not red? Was there a reason for that? And they ask these real nerdy stuff. But you know what? In 50 years' time, I will be dead. And, you know, hopefully in somewhere
in
the ether, my videos will still be out there. And, you know, it's like passing the baton on to the next generation. You know, I look upon myself really as more a kind of historian of old games. And, you know, I think it's important that we try and preserve this hobby of ours for kind of generations to come.
I do sometimes think to myself, I don't know if you ever do this, but I think, what's going to happen to all my videos and stuff if YouTube still around? That is like years after we're all gone, like 100 years from now. What's going to happen to all the content that we've made? Is it just going to be lost, or is someone going to preserve it in a big hard drive somewhere? And like, they're going to be like historical documents for a lot of people in the future if they still exist.
Aye, I mean, I think it's slightly too early to actually know what's going to happen, but already you can go to things like the Internet Archive, and like my dad, who's, you know, my dad passed away 10 years ago. He had a website all about his hometown of Leith in Edinburgh, and
I remember you talking about that before, yeah.
Yeah, you can actually. I think you can go on to this Internet Archive, and you can sort of like you can still see the kind of the a lot of the links don't work obviously, but you can still it's kind of preserved the sort of structure of the website. So I would
That's
like
great.
to think that at some point, all this content. I mean, I can't imagine the size of USB drive that YouTube has to store all these videos. I mean, it must be phenomenal.
Yeah, I think they've got servers all around the world, haven't they?
I don't know.
Big,
I don't know
massive
how it
ones.
works. I don't even. It's like that. I don't know if you've seen
I was
the
just going to
first.
ask. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, have you seen the first Creed movie
No, I
where
haven't. No.
Sylvester Stallone's talking to Apollo Creed's son, and it's not a
All right,
spoiler
that
by the
Creed.
way.
So I thought you meant like Assassin's Creed or something.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Creed as in Sylvester
Ah,
Stallone
yeah,
Creed,
yeah. I
and
get you now.
the Apollo son's Creed takes a photograph, and he goes, and Sylvester Stallone says, "Oh, you kind of want to save that picture." And he went, "Yeah, it's up there in the cloud." And he went, "Oh yeah." And then as Apollo Creed's son walks away, you see Sylvester Stallone looking up to the sky. Cloud. That's me. That's me. That is.
How many gigabytes worth of videos do you think you've got in total?
Oh man. Oh God, that would. I used to. Quite a number of years ago, I thought to myself, I should
Is it
really,
in the terabytes now?
I should really download them all just to have them preserved. Um, Apart from anything, it would be an absolute ball aching job. If anybody out there wants to become the official Mamemeister historian archiver, then please hit me up. But yeah, I kind of thought I should download them all, and then just in case anything happens. But it would be I've made too many. I mean, it says I don't know exactly how many videos I've made. If I go into YouTube, it says 2.1 thousand, but it's been saying that for quite a long time.
Videos? Fucking hell.
Yeah, I mean, probably half of them were made in the first 5 years. But it would be a lot. I would sometimes think to myself, I'd like to have all my Friday waffles just in
How
one
many
place
years have you
because
been doing this?
I've been doing waffles since it
No,
was.
just
I think.
YouTube in general.
Oh, I think it was May 13. I started. So we're
2013.
we're just ticked over the 10 years.
So you
A
got,
long time.
what would you say, almost 3,000 videos or something like that?
I don't know. I don't know how many. It's a lot. Maybe 2,500, something like that. It's a
'Cause
lot.
I was just thinking, I've been doing YouTube since 2010, and I think I've got about 200 videos.
It's more depressing. You look at some of these channels that have got like 14.9 million subscribers, and they've made like 126 videos.
Yeah.
But it's because they put out quality content, unlike me.
Possibly, or there might be some other factors to it, but that they might be controversial theories about how YouTube likes to cater to certain people over others. But maybe we shouldn't get into that.
That's for another day. That one, I think.
So, what was your first experience with gaming?
My of video gaming, presumably my very very first. I mean, I'm
If you can remember, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm of a certain age that well, I remember the very first time I clocked eyes on a video game would be I was going to wasn't Edinburgh Airport, it was called Turnhouse Airport, which I don't know exactly where it was. It was nearby. It was called Turnhouse Airport. My family, me, my two sisters, my mum and dad, we this was a thing that we did in the 70s. My dad says, "Oh, shall we go to Turnhouse Airport and watch the planes land? Yeah, and we'll get a bag of chips on the way home. Yeah, great, Dad." And my dad had bought one of these little radios where you could hear like the pilot talking. So we went to Turnhouse Airport, and I remember walking through, and then you went upstairs up onto the platform, and you could watch the planes coming in. And as we were walking towards the stairs, I can distinctly remember seeing this thing on the left hand side, and what's that? And I kind of stopped, and I had a look at it, and it was Pong, or a version of Pong, and I'm like, "Come on, hurry up!" And I'm like, okay, and that was it. I didn't really think any more about it. And then I was at my granny's through in Edinburgh, and my granny says to my granda, "Jimmy, go and show the bairn what you've bought." Oh, okay. And he came in. You need to remember, my granny would be what? I mean, my granny lived 105 years old. Believe it or not, she died 10 years ago. She was 105. So my granny was probably quite an age when I was like, I don't know, 10 years old. She was probably in her 70s. They had bought a Binatone Pong game. It was one of these bright orange,
Yeah, I've got one of them.
really, really bright, yeah, bright orange consoles. So he set it up on the TV, and I'm like, fuck, this is just, this was mind blowing. I'm like, oh. And then my granny's like, "So do you want to take it home with you?" My mum's like, "No, just leave it." I'm like, "Oh yeah, please. Jimmy, go and put it in the box and give the bear, and he can take it home with him." So that was it. So I got this Pong machine, and you need to understand that it was a time where we only as a family had one TV. So I connected up this TV. In fact, no, I tell a lie. We had two TVs. Mum and Dad had a black and white portable that they had in the kitchen, and so my mum was right. You can have this black and white TV in the bedroom, and I played this Pong. The only problem was it was so limited. Unless you had a pal to play it with you, you were limited to squash practice, which was quite literally hitting this square brick against another wall, and that was it. There was really no point to it. So very, very quickly, I got completely bored. I thought, this is boring. And what I used to do was I discovered that if you switched it on and off really fast, it would like hang, and it would almost resemble a scrolling road. And I thought this, because at this point I'd seen we would go on holiday and there was all these early Atari games. I thought this looks like a kind of driving game. I thought this is great, and this is without a shadow of a lie. The Atari 2600 had come out, and my mate, I've not seen for years, Nick, he had an Atari 2600, and he brought it up to my house one day, and it was the first time I'd ever set eyes on one. And he had Pac-Man, and he had Combat, which was like a kind of box-in game. And we sat and played this game for like 5 hours. And eventually my mum's like, "Nick, I think you need to go home," because he would have stayed all night. So she kind of chased him away. But he said to me, "Look, I'll come back tomorrow. Why don't I just leave it here?" I went, "Yeah, that's a great idea." So that was it. I sat a whole night playing Pac-Man and Thing Mate. But where was I going with this? I'm trying to remember where it was.
Did your Binatone thing come with a gun? A light gun?
No, that was the sort of deluxe version. I just had the
that's
basic.
The one I've got.
It had football, tennis, squash, and squash practice.
And they're all the same, basically, aren't they?
So I got bored of this game very quickly, and at this point, there was like a guy called what's his name, Kenny Everett. He was a comedian. I think he was on a radio DG. He was the guy that actually got Bohemian Rhapsody well known. He had his own like TV show and all that. It was very much of its time. But Ken Everett used to advertise Atari 2600 on TV, and I would have given anything to get an Atari. We called it the VCS in Scotland. It wasn't Atari 2600, the Atari VCS. And 'cause I used to go up to like the local shops. There was a big department store called Woolco, and they had the Atari VCS. They had the ColecoVision, which was like wow. It had Donkey Kong running it. They had the Vectrex, which nobody knew what to make of the Vectrex. It was this obscure little thing that had its own TV. But anyway, I was desperate to get a Atari 2600, but my mum and dad couldn't afford it, so it was like it was never an option. But at this point, I remember reading it was a newspaper, and Space Invaders had just come out, and my first experience of Space Invaders, again, I've mentioned this 1,000 times. I'd been coerced into going to judo lessons, and I went up to my local sports centre to do judo. And as I went through the revolving door, I noticed on the right hand side this group of young youths, we'll call them. They were gathered around this box, and there was like this noises were coming from it. And I'm like, me being a little snotty nosed kid, I kind of pushed my way through, kind of to the front, and there was a TV screen with these things that were moving from left to right, and there was this ominous thudding sound as they kind of progressed down the screen. And then I realised that the guy that was standing in front of this TV was using two buttons, and left and right controlled this little square along the bottom. And when he pressed this other button with his right hand, it would fire like a missile.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking hell! Whoa! This was just mind blowing, absolutely mind blowing. So anyway, I mean, I maybe got my dates muddled up, but this whole period was all around about the same time. It was technology that I'd just never seen before, and it's hard to describe to somebody who's not my age just how mind blowing and groundbreaking this was. People take for granted being able to play video games, but this was something. You're going from watching a TV. Watching a TV is a passive kind of hobby. You just look at it and you don't interact. Suddenly you could interact, and you could move something on a TV, which would then influence something else happening, whether it was a gun or shooting something. And so yeah, I became aware of home computers. Again, I didn't have a job. I was still at school. Then I got a part-time job in Woolco, that big place that sold the ColecoVisions and all that kind of stuff. I got a job in there, and my mum and dad bought me, I wanted a Spectrum. Well, I wanted a Commodore 64, but that wasn't going to happen. So I said, can I get a Spectrum, please? And they said, well, you stay in the house and it'll be a surprise. So they went away, they bought me a computer, and it was a Texas TI 9940, which... Looking at it now, I realise it was quite a competent computer, but back then it was basic as anything. I had one game which I bought. I bought it. It was a postage game. It was awful, absolutely diabolical. It was a type-in game type thing. That was it. When I started working in Woolco, I was earning like 12 quid a week, and I discovered they sold Commodore 64s. And I could take it out on interest-free credit. Well, it probably wasn't interest-free. I was paying back, I think, 15 quid a month. So every month, I'd get my wages, and I'd have to hand over, 15 quid to pay it back. Got the Commodore 64, and that was it. I never... a lot of my mates had computers. A lot of them, they got interested in girls and music, and they went away. I got interested in girls and music, but I still enjoyed playing computer games, and here I am, somewhat 40 odd years later.
Who needs girls when you got a C64?
Exactly. So yeah, that was it, and I've quite literally never looked back. I don't see myself ever not being interested in computer games. So yeah.
So obviously you're more into the older stuff that you grew up with. Do you play any of the modern stuff at all?
I do. I mean, I've got an Xbox Series X, I think they call it.
I hate their naming system.
Oh, I know. Why not just call it an Xbox 9 or a 10, and you know exactly where you stand. Yeah, here's the thing. I can talk, the hind legs off a donkey when it comes to the early days and the passion and the excitement of video games.
Classics like China Miner.
Even I'll hear nothing said about China Miner. That's one for another video.
Do you think you'll ever get bored of playing it?
No. I was actually playing it last week. I was playing it last week at the computer club. Great game. I love the old games, but something I've said, and I've upset quite a few people in the past. I would say that 90% of classic games on the Spectrum, Commodore 64. I'm not going to say they're shite, but you wouldn't want to play it for any more than a couple of minutes. You load up a game, you go, right, okay, right, something else. They were off its time. There are still some brilliant games. I mean, I could rhyme off probably 20 games that I still think are credible games that I would want to play. But fast forward to 2023, you can't not put on a modern console and something like, what am I still playing? The Last of Us 2, whatever. And it's just, it's mind blowing what they've done. When you see how far they've come. You look at an early driving game from like 1979, and in the space of 40 years, you've gone from a little block going around a track to like something that's like realistic. Absolutely phenomenal, and that kind of jump has not been lost on me. I still get stupidly excited, the fact that I can play all these games. However, saying that, I think we've lost the creativity and the originality that existed in the early days. Companies now, they probably spend hundreds of millions of pounds on games. They employ thousands and thousands of people. They're not going to take.
It's safer just to do something that everyone wants, and they know that they want it, rather than try to make a new kind of game.
Why would like EA want to invent a game where, I don't know,
It's frustrating because a lot of these big companies, they've got stuff that they could make. Like EA has Road Rash, which I'd love to have a newer version of that, and they just never will for some reason.
Aye, that's an interesting one. Road Rash, yeah. Can you imagine
a sort
of a new version?
Yeah.
No, that was a great. Well, it wasn't a great game. It still is a great game, and that's why I hate the phrase retro games, because a Commodore 64 game is still a game. It doesn't have to be classed as retro, but I do understand why people refer to them differently, because they want to differentiate between.
I get annoyed because there's people now calling PS2 retro. And it's like, oh, that's not retro, and then I think, oh, 20 years ago.
Well, Half-Life is 25.
Fucking hell.
Half-Life is. I'm actually going to start. I'm going to go through that again, because that is one of the best games ever.
Yeah.
Have you played Half-Life?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Completed
It's
it.
one of these games that stays with you.
I actually like it more than Half-Life 2, which everyone else goes on about.
Well, funny thing was, yesterday during the day, I thought, I really want to. I'm going to start playing Half-Life again. And I think they've brought out a new. It's like the 25th anniversary version. I don't think they've really done anything with it. They've not tarted the graphics up, whatever. I think they've made it like widescreen, so you can see more off the screen and all that kind of thing. But I thought, I wonder if I can play it in my Xbox downstairs. It's not available. You can play. I've got the Orange Box, which was a great compilation that came out for I think it came out for the PS3 and the Xbox 360. It's got Half-Life 2, whatever it's called, Team Fortress, and a couple of the other kind of add-on
Team
packs.
Fortress and Portal, yeah.
Yeah, Portal, which I could never understand because I'm a bit stupid. But I started playing. I put it into the Xbox Series X. Unfortunately, it does have backwards compatibility, which is great. And I started playing it, and it's great. But you know what? Just what you said there, I kind of think, wait a minute, I've played this game quite a few times. I want to play the original, and I think the only way to play the original is to play it on your computer. So I'm probably going to do that. But I think I'll put it on nice and easy mode so I can run through it. But I just want to experience it again, because it was a fantastic game.
I'm getting sick and tired of them, just game companies in general, re-releasing everything, and they always try to. Well, it's good if there's broken like controls or glitches where the game just messes up because of something stupid like in the coding or whatever. They fix things like that, but quite often with all these like remastered and stuff, they change the style of the graphics and it just doesn't feel the same anymore. Sometimes they change the characters or story as well, and it's,
if you want
like that.
The best example of how not to do a remake, one of my favourite arcade games is Berserk. It's a stupidly simplistic game, and it's one of the hardest games you'll play, and it's brilliant.
I was actually playing a bit of that last night on my retro. Really difficult.
Oh, were you really? Yeah, it's an awesome game, and they've just brought out a Berserk Redux or something it's called, and I saw a video. I watched a bit of somebody playing it, and I'm like, oh fucking hell, this is shit. It's just crisp, and it just looks shit. You know, a huge part of the appeal of like early games was there was no backgrounds. The background was largely black, and then you got the phosphorus kind of glow of the coupled with the sort of blurriness of a CRT screen, and it gave it its own unique kind of atmosphere.
Yeah.
You play. I mean, you can. The best way to can explain that is if you load up a game like Berserk or Space Invaders on MAME and you don't have any filters, it's like razor sharp, and it just looks wrong. It's kind of looks too high definition, if that
Did
makes
you
any sense.
did you watch Kevin Down the Rabbit Hole's recent video on his thoughts on Star Wars, like the 4K release?
No, I haven't. No.
He was basically saying the same thing, like those films, because they're in 4K, it loses some of the character, like the original feel of the film changes because it's just too high definition or whatever.
Definitely. I remember, I don't know if you ever saw it in the cinema, The Hobbit. They brought out, it was that way Martin. Is it Martin Freeman? Is that what he's called?
Yeah.
That's a good segue from Half-Life. Gordon Freeman, wake up, Gordon Freeman. Martin Freeman. They brought out The Hobbit, which was, I mean, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think is fantastic.
What was that, like 8K or something? It looked really rubbish.
It was so sharp, and it looked like, I went to the pictures to see it, and it looked like you were standing at the side watching them act.
Right,
and
yeah.
it just, and the weird thing is, like, my TV, I've got I mean, it's a decent TV. It's a Samsung, cost me about £500, whatever. The picture quality is just ridiculously, it's so sharp. But yeah, there is something about, I'm not saying I want to go back to the old VHS tapes when it was like trying to get a decent picture, but yeah, it was something, everything being soft focus, it just, I don't know, it made it more believable. Whereas you're watching something that's super, super sharp.
It could hide
It
all the defects and all the wires and like things that don't quite look right, but you don't notice it because it's blurry.
Aye, it's weird. I think you've got to be off a, it's a bit like when we moved from like vinyl or tapes to CD, and I remember my mate, he was one of these spoiled bastards. He had his mum had a CD player in the car, and this was before I had a CD player, and he played Brothers in Arms by Dire Straits, and it's like, wow. And he's like, listen to this, and he turned it up to like 50, and there was like no hiss, and then suddenly the guitar kicks in, and we thought this was great. But then fast forward 30 years, and people are now like myself going, "Oh, vinyl's better. It's got a richness that you just don't get with CD." Funny.
So, have you got any future plans for your YouTube channel?
I want to kind of go back to my roots and be making, what were the worst 10 motorbike games in the Commodore 64, and why was the Spectrum such a crap computer? Which I'm just saying that for comedic effect. It's not. It's a great computer. But yeah, I want to go back to putting out pre-recorded videos rather than live streams. I mean, as I say, live streams for me, it's more fun for me because I'm not having to edit it. I'm talking to people sort of live, albeit they're only talking to me through kind of,
See, I'm the exact opposite of you. I find it more fun to edit, and I don't really like talking to people.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's taking the next step and doing a live stream is a bit scary.
Yeah.
Because I remember in the early days, I took a bit of a panic attack when I was going to do whatever it was. It was a live stream, and I was, I set the little intro going, and I'm sitting literally just waiting. I'm watching it like everybody else, waiting for it to finish. And I remember just literally as it was about to come up, and it was like 14 people watching. You're like, and I could feel my heart sort of starting to bum, 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 bum. And I can't remember what video it was, and I came on and I started talking.
I get like that when there's just one person watching.
Yeah, and I ended up saying, I can remember I ended up saying, I could feel my heart was like pulsing. I said, oh, listen, folks, I need to go for a second. I'll be right back. And I switched the camera off, and I thought, fucking hell, get a grip of yourself. It was like stage fright. I took stage fright. So, doing live streams, at the end of the day, you can just hit the off button. You know, if you're doing a live stream and you're not feeling it, you could just quite literally hit the off button, and all right, people would go, "Oh, what's happened here?" You know, I hope the guy's all right. But doing live streams is enormous fun. I do love like things like this, talking to people. I think it makes it more entertaining for people as well, rather than just listening to me. But no, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I mean, I would love to say I've got ideas for this and ideas for that, but you know, I've got other interests in my life as well, and you know, I've got a job, and you know, and that's if you're a small channel listening to this and you're thinking, oh, I'll never be as good as blah 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 blah. These guys are doing it full time. They're getting paid money to do it. You know, they've got that. That's their job. Their job is to record a video and to edit it and get it absolutely perfect. People like myself and Lon Boys Post and all that. You know, there's Lon Boys Post is a good friend of mine. He's got a fantastic channel. He's like me. His editing quality is fucking diabolical. I mean, I think he still uses a bloody phone. Apologies, Dave, if you don't, but it looks like it. But it's all about him sitting in his bed and talking, and it's about the person. I'll watch a channel because it's a person, not about because I'll maybe watch a video if I want to see, oh, I'm going to buy this latest game. I'll see if it's shit or not. I'll watch a video and somebody talking about it. But the minute I put a video on and somebody's doing something and they're not talking, I'm like, why would I want to listen to this? Because you're not talking. You want to get a flavour of the person, which you get with doing live streams. So live streams are great.
So, talked for quite a while now. Have you still got time to do a quiz?
Absolutely. I've got no problem.
Are you ready for the Inquisition?
I guess so. Yeah.
You might like to know that there are some fabulous prizes that can be won. If you get all the questions right, you get top prize, which is a free eye massage from Spoons Mackenzie. And he's a nice lad, Spoons. He's just recently been released from prison, and he tells me that these accusations of him killing people and gouging out their eyes, they're completely unfounded, and any rumours that were spread about that should be quenched right here, and I apologise if I said anything to upset him, because he's a really nice guy. And incidentally, has anyone seen my seeing eye dog? I don't see very well these days, but anyway, you'll get on great with Spoons, and he'll massage your eyes and make them feel really nice again. So that's the top prize. But if you get 8 questions right, say, then you get the second prize, which is just as good as that, which is the satisfaction of doing well in the quiz. And obviously, if you don't get more than 8, then, well, you're a loser, really, aren't you? So,
fingers crossed.
You excited?
I will give it my best. That's all that I can do.
Questions are quite difficult, but hopefully you'll get on with the quiz and do well. So we'll start as I normally do with question 1. So, question 1, what is your name?
Al Stewart.
Okay, you might need to answer a wee bit quicker than that, because some of the questions I'll be worried that you're looking them up, and
you hear the keyboard. I promise I won't cheat.
I had to tell the last guest off in the last episode, because I'm pretty sure he was cheating. But so you've answered Al Stewart. That's correct, yeah. So that's you got 1 point so far. Just mark that down. Right, question 2. Who made the video game Tempest 2000?
Jeff Minter.
Absolutely correct. Okay, question 3. Name a type of cheese.
Brie.
That is correct. So you're doing well so far. You got 3 questions right. Got 3 points. You feeling confident?
I am. Yeah, I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel it.
Okay then. Question 4. The Jurassic was the first period of which era?
The Jurassic.
No, Jurassic.
Jurassic?
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Oh, man. Of which era?
Yeah. Well, you don't know.
I don't know. I'm shit.
Oh,
I'm shit at history,
You're
geography.
doing so well as well.
I don't know the Jurassic era. I don't know. Pass.
The Jurassic was the first period of the Mesozoic era.
The what?
The Mesozoic era. The age of reptiles.
Oh.
When Pangea started to split apart. Probably quite close to your date of birth. Only taking the piss.
Dear. Yeah.
Probably more closer to your actual date of birth now. Question 5. What year was the Battle of Bannockburn?
Oh, bollocks. I knew you were going to do this to me. You're going to show me up and show up what kind of inept monkey the Battle of Bannockburn. I haven't.
Every Scottish person knows this.
I don't. I really don't. I'm shit. I'm shit at history. I'm shit at geography.
It's 1314.
1314. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. I'm shit. I'm shit at bloody geography.
Well,
And history.
Well, you might win some Scottish points back with the next question. Question 6. Name a traditional Scottish pastime.
Complaining.
That is a good one, but it's not what I've got written down.
Have I got to agree with what you've got written down?
Yeah. Very unfair, but yeah. I am the quizmaster.
Well, that's a Scottish pastime.
Or maybe I should say it's Scotland's favourite pastime. Or the one it's most well known for.
Well, it's not football. It's not talking about the weather.
You're going to kick yourself.
Haggis hurling. No, I know that. They don't actually exist, folks.
Is that your final answer?
Haggis hurling. No. Let me think. What is the Scottish people's favourite pastime? It's got to be complaining. That's what we do. Of course it is.
No, I'm afraid what I've got written down here is sheep shagging.
Shit.
All a bunch of sheep shaggers. Okay then. Question 7. Which planet is closest to the Sun? Another geography question.
Oh, fucking hell. And I'm not cheating.
Don't look it up.
I should know this because my girlfriend, there's a what's it called? Not an abbreviation. There's like a word that it kind of tells you closest to the Sun. Is it?
Do you want a clue?
Is it Mercury? No.
Mercury, is that your final answer?
Go for Mercury.
I'm afraid there are no planets. The Earth is flat. Astronomy is just completely made up. It's all a load of bollocks. Made up by lazy scientists. Because we all know that the Earth is the only plane of existence. And it's completely flat.
True.
And the Sun goes around the Earth. So, didn't get that question right. Okay. Question 8. Which is the correct pronunciation? Galaga or Galaga?
Galaga.
No, I'm afraid it's Galaga.
Oh. I would not. It's Galaga.
No, it still says here Galaga.
Right, we'll take that one. Or yeah. Or what about Galaga?
No, it's not what I've got written down.
So what was the right answer?
Gallagher.
Gallagher.
Yeah.
No, I'll disagree with that one, but anyway.
Okay. Question 9. Which planet is the largest in the solar system? Time is ticking.
Is it Saturn? Is it Saturn?
No, I'm afraid you weren't paying attention. I said astronomy is a load of bollocks. The world's flat. It's still flat. You're doing quite poorly. Question 10.
Can I tell you right now? I'm actually squirming in my seat. Squirming in my seat at all these bloody questions.
What's wrong with them?
Showing myself up.
Well, you should have known that the Triassic period was in the Mesozoic era. Everyone knows that. Okay, question 10. Would you like a free point just to improve your score? Because you did pretty poorly.
A free point? How many is that? How many we've had?
You've got 3 points.
3.
But you can have another one to improve your score a wee bit.
Yeah.
Is this a what?
No, is this a bonus one?
Yeah, do you want a bonus point?
Yeah, if it allows me to increase my score by 25%, then or 33%, I'll take it.
Well, the thing is, if I was just to give away points, that would be cheating. So I'm afraid I can't really do that.
Who's got the best score out of all your previous guests?
Kevin, you got 7 questions. I think I made that quiz too easier, to be honest with you.
I think so. Knowing Kevin, I think it must have been easier than these ones.
Yeah. Maybe it's just smart, I don't know.
Have I got the lowest score so far?
No. That would be boxing. He got 2 points. But yeah, I can't just give away points, so I'm afraid, because you've proven yourself to be quite dishonest, I can't give you question 10. So your grand total is 3 points. Quite a low score, but at least you're not as bad as boxing.
Yeah, so where I'm on the league? Second bottom?
Second last, yeah. Well, you should have known when the Battle of Bannockburn was.
Yeah.
History
and geography, that's why I've never gone mastermind.
Yeah.
Ask me who wrote Killer Gorilla on the Spectrum and I'll give you the answer, but...
Well, who wrote it then?
Blabby Software.
Who's that?
That's the company that wrote Killer Gorilla on the Spectrum. No, it was Barmy Burgers. I beg your pardon. Bloody hell, Barmy Burgers. Killer Gorilla.
Can't even get your own questions right.
Oh, wait a minute. I think they did write Killer Gorilla as well. But Blabby Software, Blaby, they wrote Barmy Burgers. Yeah, stuff like that. I mean, I can watch a film I can watch a film and somebody will ask me. They'll have seen the same film and we'll be talking about it the next day and they'll talk about a certain bit. I think I don't remember that. I've just got an awful memory for films, geography and history and the bloody planets, obviously, as I've so aptly demonstrated. But anyway, thanks for that. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
At least I will be spared the eye massage, which is a.
But you didn't quite get enough points to win the satisfaction of doing well. So yeah. But anyway, I hope you've had a nice time doing the quiz. Hasn't pissed you off too much.
No, it has been wonderful. I've made no secret of the fact that I'm a big fan of yours. You've got this unique...
I tolerate you as well, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, you've got this unique... you put your own unique spin on everything. Lots of people probably don't get it. I understand that, but I think they're...
My unique spin, which I just rip off from Monty Python and Shooting Stars.
All I will say is never ever change. And I do look forward to being invited back onto your channel at some point.
And always steal from the best.
But yeah, it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful, Mr. Swiftle, having me on the channel.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, and all that remains for me to say is thank you very much for you, the listener, for listening, and I hope you come back for the next episode. Adios, fine fellows.
Bye-bye.